It's because another competitor, Graham Salmon, won a bronze there. Now his courageous struggle against his disability has inspired a play by the Epping Youth Theatre. Michael Whale went along to rehearsals.
31-year-old Graham Salmon from Essex is an investment counsellor with a building society. He's also a top-class athlete. And it's his amazingly successful athletic career that has inspired the Essex Youth Theatre, an amateur group made up basically of schoolchildren, to write a play about his life.
We started off by thinking we'd do something like Louis Braille, and then the headmaster of the school that I work at said he knew a chap in Loughton called Graham Salmon, who was a blind athlete who held world records in 100 metres and also the British record in the high jump. So I went down to meet him and we decided to do his story.
I'm very proud that they've written a play about me, and I'm very proud to know the people that have written it and performing it, because I think they're very good.
In this extract from the play, Race to be Seen, his parents hear for the first time that the youthful Graham will be blind for life.
I'm afraid I wish I'd only known then what I know now, or we would have never have done this. Why? What's wrong? The radium has destroyed the sight in Graham's other eye, and there is absolutely no hope. The only safe solution is to remove the eye without any further delay.
What would happen if we left the eye in?
The cancer would penetrate inwards towards his brain. He would most certainly die. Not only that, he would suffer a great deal of pain.
Couldn't we give him one of our eyes?
My dear, I wish it was as simple as that. It isn't. We must have your permission to remove the eye. You must decide. The boy is lying in there on the table.
That actually wasn't a very difficult decision to make. Our only worry was whether we'd appreciate we'd had the chance to end life for him or to let him go blind. Totally blind.
Our son must be totally blind for the rest of his life. We just wondered how all the pain and suffering would affect him.
Graham forced himself to overcome his handicap, not only in sport, but also in his work for a building society in the city.
Hello? Yeah, sure, yeah. £20,000. Right. Over 25 years. Right. £145.28.
The Epping Youth Theatre interviewed his colleagues here, as well as parents and friends, to compile documentary evidence, which they compressed into the play. The result is impressively realistic.
I can listen to the people who play my mum and dad, and I can actually hear my mum and dad speaking through them. The early scenes with my parents when I lost my sight, well, I'm glad I saw them in rehearsals a bit at a time. I don't know how I would have taken it if I'd have seen the whole play straight off with an audience. That would have been pretty hard, I think, because it is very moving. It would have been quite emotional, I think. But so I'm glad I had a chance to see the scenes as they were being created. So that I had a chance to get over that before I actually saw it, because it certainly made my sisters cry.
What was the young people's reaction to Graham?
Well, before they met him, they were frightened, because many of them had never met anyone with any kind of physical disability. And they were quite worried about what Graham would be like. And when he came in, they discovered that he was just a very normal, very funny chap who sat down and entertained them for 3 hours and told us some very funny stories.
In 1979, I ran in a 60-metre indoor meeting, and I actually ran against sighted runners without using a guide. And I think it's probably the only time that a blind person has run in a race against sighted people without the assistance of a guide. The race is very good. It's a very powerful scene. Yeah, that is one of the highlights of the play for me, anyway.
To your marks! This was it. Graham's first race against sighted runners. Would be no quarter asked and none given. Set! Graham's dream was about to be realised. Come on, Graham, drive!
Yeah, they were running, striving to reach maximum speed.
Drive your arms if you use higher.
He could hear the Manley's right begin to edge in front.
Right a bit, Graham. Right.
He obeyed Ron's instructions and altered his course slightly.
Faster, stay with him.
The applause as I crossed the line said it all. I left Crystal Palace with a feeling of deep satisfaction. I hadn't won. I'd come second. But somehow that was no longer important.
A blind person is just somebody like you or the cameraman or anybody else in this office. Just happens not to be able to see. We're as different to each other as you're different to the next person. And in other ways we're the same, you know. We're just another person whose eyes don't work, and hopefully that comes across in the play and might go some way to eliminating the prejudices that people have got against blindness and disability.
That report there by Michael Whale. And you can see Race to be Seen, the play about Graham Salmon, which is done by the Epping Youth Theatre.